Flex, the livest one in the section. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, Dave Walker, drink blood, trains out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
I'm going to skip the roll call real quick because we got business we need to take care of. Can you hear me, Joe?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes! Yes!
Man, all right.
Yes!
Yes, thank you, honey, for helping.
You're welcome, man.
Shout out to you, man. Much love and appreciation. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank
all right.
you.
Internet's not that good.
We're going to go inside where it's a little better internet.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a guest this evening. And before we get to the events of last night, you know, we gotta show some love to our guests, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that don't know, this is Joe Lipsey in the building. How you doing, good brother?
Hey, man, it's good to be on this show with you and good to talk to you, boxing fans and fellow former fighters or current fighters. It's glad to have an opportunity to talk to you guys.
Absolutely, man. Much love and appreciation. Thank you so much, man. Let the people know who you are exactly, for those that don't know.
My fight name, I used to be called Joe the Sledgehammer Lipsey. Basically, my pro route ended up being trying out. I missed the trials for '88 Olympics. I separated the shoulder, and so I decided my dad and I decided to try to find a place to fight out of. St. Louis, Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit. I ended up in Lansing, Michigan, and as far as the best deal I can get, and they had the Palace, which had the most fights, I believe, USA fights in the country. So I said, hey, you know, if I'm the person I'm supposed to be, then that's where I'll get somebody's attention. So from that's where I gained some traction, trying to move up in the ranks and dealing with the fights, the cancellations, the shows that would fall out. It was a hard journey just to get to the top, you know. So I ended up, the last fight ended up fighting Bernard Hopkins, and
I remember that.
Yeah, and leading up to that, I think they canceled one once, and then I ended up canceling. I would start sparring, and my throat would close up, and started getting dizzy. I had to stop. The doctors couldn't figure out what it was, and I was like, "Hey, I'm not. What do you want me to do? Maybe it'll go away. Nobody knows what it is." So that was the way I took it. I had all the faith and belief that I would be okay. My parents were with me the whole time, and I think, my parents were with me the whole time, and they were very big supporters. So anyway, the same thing happened fighting Hopkins. In the round previous before I got KO'd, I started. I felt like I couldn't catch my breath.
Right.
And from there, you know, I was pissed. Of course, I'm like mad at God, and my wife was. Sorry, guys. And I just said, you know what? To the death. Forget it. To the death. Forget it. I was pissed. And I said, I'm not going to kneel out. I'm not going to sit in the corner and kneel out. I'm not going to kneel out in the middle of the ring. He said, I'm a real fighter. Live and die by the sword. So
Right.
I can knock out all these people. And at the time, I had 20 knockouts, 25 wins, undefeated.
Right.
In the amateurs, I had like 150 KOs. So it was nothing to me. That's just nothing but style. But that was how I chose to go out. I didn't, I did what I thought. Hey, let me try to catch him with a shot before he got run out of breath, or he catch me with one. So he caught me. And after that, I was unable to fight for several years. And then I thought I was getting better. And then I start training, making momentum. And then I tore my calf muscle.
Oh, man.
I wasn't even straining. I wasn't even running hard. That took 11 months to heal. Then the jobs I was working, I was sick from the pollution. Some of those jobs were really bad. And then so when it comes back around, my dad already had fight promoters lined up in New York. I'll just jump back in on the horse. I'm already up at the top. So that was my plan. And plus, I was going to have my own organization, because prior to the fight, my people, my backers decided. Oh, this light came out, honey. My backers decided to no longer deal with me if I lose the fight. So that was on the eve of the championship fight. That's what they told me. So, I was just ticked off that I just looked at the person they sent to relay the message to me. I just looked at them like, are you crazy? All this I've been through, all these changes I've been through, trying to fight. I'm here. Nobody knows what's wrong with me. And you're going to deliver that message to me on the eve? It's like, that's madness. But anyway, I blocked them out. And I was pretty convincing at the weigh-ins. It's like, he ain't acting like he's sick. Because they already knew. So that's boxing. They already knew what was wrong. Something was wrong with me. But
what was the diagnosis, though? Exactly.
It ended up it showed its ugly head like years later. It ended up being my thyroid.
Oh.
Graves' disease. I had hyperactive thyroid. And the thing was, in hindsight, the Derrick James fight I had, I was 156. I had never been 156 since high school. Here I am, a grown-ass man, professional, 156. I couldn't do that if I tried. But I didn't connect, because at the time my brother was murdered 2 weeks prior to that.
Oh,
so
boy.
I had all these things going wrong. And then of course with that fight also, the bell rang and I just couldn't remember what to do. I didn't know my mind was about 4 or 5 rounds. I just threw punches because I should be throwing punches. But coming out of that, I realized with that, and then also there was like the Lopez fight. I was really tired. And yeah, I knocked him out, but it wasn't that. It was like when I went to go finish him out, there's a certain amount of power. It's like a certain amount of power and speed. Just like a sprinter, they know when they go full out, they got that feeling, or whatever it might be.
Right.
You at max and you know it. You at your max power and it feels good. It's just going, I had the turnover, but I didn't feel anything. Muscle. I didn't feel like I was really doing any damage.
Right.
I feel like in the midst of it, I was like, huh? Or like, whatever. Because, you finish somebody out, finish them off, you go all out. You give everything you have. You go to your corner, suck in air, fuel muscles for oxygen, because you're going to release everything you got. Because you can take a chance. He slipped through the round, and in some kind of way, things turn, and now here you are.
Right.
You hurt. So
right.
That's just finishing. That's just part of what I had in place for finishing people. But yeah, that was just something that stood out. And then years later, that's when I was like, okay, that's the problem. That thyroid was acting up throughout at the end of my career.
Right.
I was just too strong and too conditioned. My mind was so conditioned. Man, you could shoot me and I'd probably be like, oh, that's all right. I'm gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you definitely had a warrior's mentality, and for those of you that don't know, I think you when you left the game, I mean, your last outing against B-Hop, I mean, I guess there's no shame in saying you lost to B-Hop. He's a Hall of Fame fighter. That was your only loss, man.
Yeah,
That was your only loss. You was knocking over trees, brother. You was really giving them the business.
Dude, when I fight, it's like, and this is why I really want to help. It took I never had anyone in my gym or that was better than me or on the same level. So everything I had to learn on myself as far as the higher level stuff, growing. And some of it took 3, 4 years, 5 years to get to a certain mentality or a certain strength.
Right.
As far as putting it all together. So it took me longer because I had to be the one to tread the way. And the hard part is really, it was like my body the whole time was really saying, okay, I had enough. Good example, I forget the guy's name. First round, I broke my wrist, my left hand. It hit sideways.
Ooh.
So I told my corner, Bob Every, my dad, said it's broke my wrist. Just let him know. So I blocked it out, hit the guy the same punch, but I act like I was gonna throw an uppercut, and I hit him in the stomach because it wouldn't hurt my hand as much.
Right.
It caught him off guard, and he was relaxed, and it went underneath his rib cage. I felt it sink in it sunk in like, oh. And I already knew before I pulled it out, he wasn't getting up. I just turned around and walked to I just turned and walked. He ain't getting up off of that.
Brother, that's one of those feelings where you land that punch and you're like, I got him. And you just it's like a walk-off home run. You hit that ball,
exactly.
It's like the feeling, it's gone.
You already know. When you hit it, you already know it's out. It's out.
Yep.
Well, anyway, yeah. So then there was another fight. I ended up I got hit behind the head in Detroit, and I couldn't see for a round and a half. All I could see was a dark shadow.
Oh boy!
And that lasted for about almost a round.
And that was in what city? You said Detroit?
It was the Detroit fight, and so you think I was so conditioned. I wasn't thinking paramedics. Get the paramedics, man. Shit, I can't see nothing. My manager was training in my face like this. All I can see is a shape.
Wow.
And tuned him out. And the only thing I had one thought in my mind. As soon as my eyes clear, I'm beating his ass to the ground. I'm going to beat his ass to the ground. That's all I was sitting there. They was like, yeah. I'm like,
was it Gino Calvillo? Gino? That name ring a bell?
I had to look at it. I had to look at the order.
Because that was in Grand Rapids.
Oh no, it could have been Grant. This was No, I think Gino. I remember that one. That was a different fight. I think.
Maybe Flint.
That one was gonna.
Was it James Gatlin? I'm looking at your box rec right now.
Oh, it wasn't Melvin Wynn. It wasn't. I had to look at it.
Those hits behind the head, man. That's something different, man.
Right. So
if you never get hit behind the head, that's something crazy,
dude. That's why I was so pissed. But as soon as my eyes cleared up, I beat him. You just beat somebody and their legs and then their knees hit. Then they just go all the way slowly. I literally beat him all the way down to the ground. And then I yelled at the crowd because that was their fighter.
Ooh!
I yelled at them like, But then after I yell at them, I expect them to be my fans. So
right.
I have a mindset to I'll just take. These are my fans now. So that's just how I am.
I'm gonna share a screen real quick, and it just incidentally because we have you on the show.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna share this screen because this is for the audience, man, because there's actually something going on. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm playing right now that I'm gonna have to edit later because you know how things are. He's fighting Derrick James, y'all, right there. Errol Spence trainer, Anthony Joshua's trainer. There you go, fighting against a young Derrick James. Look at that.
Yeah. Now, one thing that did happen, and this is why it's so critical. When you spar someone, you try to get someone with long enough arm reach, similar arm reach. Mm-hmm. We thought we had that covered. There was a guy I sparred out of Detroit who had long reach, but it wasn't as long as Derrick's. Derrick had a couple inches on this guy. And so when the bell rung, I come out to the spot where I should be at the end of that punch.
Right.
But I wasn't. I was a couple inches off. And he caught me on the temple and knocked me down. Right. So that's how important it is to get the right, if you get someone close to the size that you're going to be fighting. Because until it's an adjustment period. It would have happened naturally, but it was early, and that's how I got caught. Because the adjustment period didn't happen quite yet. And the only chance I had to adjust was when he caught me. He was like, okay, I'm too close. But by then it's too late.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't that something, man. I'm going through it, man.
That fight, that was what was so hard about that fight is I had nothing. I felt like I had nothing. The only thing I had was my spirit. That's all I had. I felt like I didn't really feel like I had that much power. I just was just out there, man. And just trying to figure out how to get my mind thinking. You know, and it wasn't until I think I bumped heads, and there's a one they called a knockdown, and I was like the next round I was just like praying just to have my mind back. Let me have my mind back. And that referee, that dude.
Yeah, well, it seems like you outwilled him definitely.
Yeah, so that fight, so it was like there's Derrick Rowland, super tough middleweight, Detroit. That was my first main event at the Palace, man. I was so dang hyped up. But at the same time, I had my left ligament on my foot, underneath my foot was really sore. So I couldn't plant down all that hard or get good power out of it. And then I had a tender spot from sparring, and that stuff all backfired on me quick. And Derrick was no joke. Derrick Rowland was no joke. He was very tough. I saw him this year in New York. Chit-chatting and all that. Glad to see each other. And I could not slow down. They were like, Joe, slow down, dude. I almost outpunched myself. I punched myself out. Until right at the end, I barely hung on. I was just like, it was crazy. I couldn't get myself to calm. Like, relax. I know. I relax, please. It was like,
wow.
So that's what I'm saying. My career was it was adversity. It was the struggle, trying to get fights, people backing out of fights. Now you training. There's one fight I was so overtrained, and it was in Flint. And when I overtrain, I'm not interested. I'm just basic. I don't want to do any plan. I don't want to systematically knock you out. I don't want to box. I'm just going to go in there and brawl until one of us is down. Because I don't even care. Because my mind is like, I'm past peak. I'm burnt out.
Right.
So I've had fights where there was no thinking involved. It was just, I just want to get out of this damn ring. And let me we just slug. And I catch you on one good, get out of here. That's how it was sometimes, man.
Who was you promoted by?
We had at the time what helped get me ranked was there was the people that were throwing the fights at the Palace, and they had a connection with USA, and then also they would go to the WBA, WBC, the conventions that they have in Atlanta. I went down there also, and they go down there and lobby just like government. They have these get-togethers and they lobby and hey, what we got a guy here in Michigan, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Willing and dealing.
Yeah.
And with hopes with them was to help me get a championship bout, a championship, and then in turn fight some fights for them.
Right.
Well, which is very nice. That's a nice little deal. You know, they're
Now
promoting me. And then if I become a world champion, I fight some fights on the make some type of deal. That's a good arrangement, you know.
Is that how you got the Bernard Hopkins fight, or was you just highly ranked enough to get that fight?
I got the fight because it really wasn't about ranking. It was about the USA exposure got me, because they're like, wait a minute, Sledgehammer, this dude Sledgehammer, man, he need to be moved. Why is he ranked up here? He need to be up here. And so it's the public. So I was kind of like the people's champion. If
okay,
I mean, so they.
It escapes me right now. Bernard Hopkins held what title at that time?
Middleweight.
I'm
not sure which belt.
I'm not sure which. I forget all the time because there's so many belts now. You know. Go ahead, Ant.
Right.
Yeah, it was How you doing, Joe?
All right. How's it going?
It was IBF belt, because remember he had just fought Roy Jones at he had just fought Roy Jones for the belt.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is you don't remember where you was ranked in the IBF?
Oh, at one point I was ranked number 1 in everything. They had me number 1 in everything.
In the WBC, WBA, the IBF?
On everything. They had me number 1 across the board.
So yeah, because I guess what I'm trying to figure out is if you was ranked number 1, and you know there's a difference between number 1s and mandatories, and you said that people pulled out of fights. Did any of those champions, the guys that pulled out of those fights when it was your turn? Just curious.
Now the promoters, there's rules, but there's rules and there's ways to get around rules. And of course the champion had to mandatorily fight the number 1 contender in the world.
Right.
Every 12 months you got to defend it. But if something come up, they're supposed to either offer the money, offer a buyout, buy them out, give them some money to hold them off.
Right.
We'll give you whatever the amount is, $75,000 or whatever. I don't even know if that's the right number, but just chill. We got this fight here, and then we'll get to you.
Wow.
Kind of deal. So
that's it's a dirty business, brother.
It's tough. It really is.
Because
the amateurs.
Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Was so articulate, and you had style. You can use your style and everything. Mm-hmm. But in the pros, you have guys that they're not necessarily. There's guys out there that's not necessarily good. Then you got the journeymen. They're good, but they're not good enough.
Right.
And they always stay in shape. And then you have the guys that's top caliber. Now they are like super strength. They may have a superpower. It might be speed. It may be timing. It may be elusive. But whatever it is, they got it.
Right.
Where they can make it look like, instead, just like myself, I can normally be within inches, and that was part of my fighting style, was to be within inches of being hit. So if you miss, you can get something coming right back at you, and it puts a little mental pressure on somebody. When somebody is in your zone, they're in your zone, that's not a comfortable feeling.
Right.
Because they could throw punches, and then, of course, with the body shots and all that, adding more targets made it more complicated, because they know they're going to get hit, but they don't know where on their body they're going to get hit or what order.
Right.
So that you add to, as you add to your style, these different things start to build a tough opponent.
Right.
If only emotion I want to show is determination, or more determined, then that's going to play. And I tell you, I learned this. It was in the last part of my amateur career. I fought in the ABF tournament at the lower level, the regionals, and I was supposed to be fighting middleweight, but their scales were off. I was 2 pounds underweight, and I get there, they said I'm 2 pounds overweight, and they had like 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And my dad said, "Don't worry, you can beat most light heavyweights anyway." So that's why I ended up going to the championship fighting Lauren Ross, #1, and we all thought we beat him. It made the news. But the thing what I'm getting to, I fought this guy he's from England, still had a strong accent. So, man, the bell rang and I'm hitting him with shots. It's just should be able to knock a donkey out. I'm hitting him with just flesh. And that dude would tie up, and that dude would be like, "Good shot, mate." It didn't bother me the first time, but after about the 4th time, I'm like, "Bullshit." Good shot, my ass. I'm about to knock your head off. What do you mean good? Good shot, mate. Good shot. So now I'm getting tired. I'm like, I was like the 3rd round, and my hands are so hurting so bad. I didn't want to hit the dude no more. But this is where I messed up. Well, I didn't say I messed up. I learned a lesson, and it was tactical because his goal was to make me throw shots and hit him to the head.
Right.
Because he can take it. That's what he wants you to do. Mm-hmm. You end up punching yourself out. When I should have went to the body. And then in the 3rd round, I started going to the body, and that dude was going, "Oh," he was saying nothing about the good shot, mate.
Yeah, you couldn't even talk.
Away. But it was too late. The damage was, it happened. So I learned that lesson, and that is tactics, and also to stay with what you're doing, because it does work, and that is you are trying to play a mind game, a psychological game. I know the fighter in me would always do something crazy, and that was the tripped out part. Was I would do something that make the crowd go, "God damn, did you see that?" Hell, I would just grab. It was sort of like, it was like my fight. The fighter in me loves to intimidate, manipulate, all those things to win. So I grab people by the arm with my glove and yanked them back in the corner with one arm, like there was a rag doll. Now imagine somebody grabbing you fighting, and they just grab you with one arm and yank you into the corner. You're like, what kind of that makes you feel pretty powerless. And
wow.
Your head.
Wow. That's something, man. I like hearing stories like that because like a lot of people, most people never fought. Most people never fought, so they don't know what that's like. I haven't even fought amateur. I sparred a bunch of times, so there's some things that I do know, but there's a lot that I don't know. That's why I like talking to fellas like yourself, because y'all know, and y'all could relay those messages. Real quick, my brother Main Event Mark texted me. You fought on a co-main event for Tyson Bruno too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Completely forgot about that. You was the co-main event.
Yeah,
holy
man.
Cow. Wow, man. Wow, man.
It was cool, man. It was cool.
What was that atmosphere like? What was that atmosphere like? Just talk to us about that.
Man, it was like, dang. I mean, it was just like, it was like the top. You were at the top echelon, man. It was just like it was like fighting in a big stadium back in the Roman days or something.
Wow.
Everybody's there to see it.
Yeah.
And everybody wants blood. Everybody wants blood. It don't matter whose blood, they want blood. And the feeling of that, because this is what I'm saying, the feeling of that, it's like when you're in there and you're getting ready to fight, that's where you at. And anybody around you, if they have any kind of inkling of fear or a look on their face, that is very irritating to a fighter. They'll a lot of times kick them out. Like, get out of my line, man. You looking over here, looking all scared and doubtful. Get out of here. You don't believe the same thing I believe.
Right.
I don't want you around me. I don't want your energy. See, that's the thing. If you got people around you, or even if in your corner, if they are thinking from a point of fear, then they're not representing me. They're representing themselves.
Right.
And you're not helping me when I really need the help. So
now I hear you. I hear you. My brother Main Event Mark, in that super chat, salute, brother. He says, did Joe have a rival throughout his career, pro or amateur? Was it that one person that it's like, man, this guy throwing in my side? Did you have any rivals in your professional career or your amateur career?
No, I did have William Guthrie. He was a great guy. He's a great guy. Middleweight. He was left-handed, and he was smooth. It was just someone I had to overcome and beat. He beat me at the Nationals, and he also beat me on another decision. I thought I won that one, but he won it, and I saw him this summer in New York too. So that was cool. We got to talk, but yeah. So he was just someone to. I mean, and he was very smooth, very good, and I was very hyper and aggressive. So he knew how to. He at that point he had already mastered being left-handed more than I did. You see, because out of 260 fights, 14 losses, 150 KO, I fought 3 left-handers.
Wow. Just
and
3.
The pros, you can count the pros. 3 left-handers. There was Guthrie 2 times, and then I think I was like 13. I fought another left-hander. I lost to him, and that's it. That's how hard it is to fight one. But left-handers always fighting right-handers.
Right. And
we know everything they're gonna do, every single thing, and we even hear them over there in the corner. Step your leg on the outside, and, you know.
Yeah.
I call it playing the footsie game.
The foot. That's the first thing y'all do is trip.
It's irritating. He's sticking their foot on. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna. You want to play the footsie game? Go ahead. I ain't gonna be walking around here trying to put mine. I'm putting mine on yours. I'm putting mine over on yours. No. So I said, okay, have that. So I move over the opposite, an inch or 2.
Right.
So you can have that side, but now I moved over an inch or 2.
So now they got to reach a little further.
So now when you throw the right hand, I just do a little like that. And just like that, it goes right by. And he's wide open for all kind of nice body shots.
Now, do you still work out?
I do some sparring. I do sparring, and with me, okay, I put it this way: it's not a day don't go by. I don't think about fighting. It's not a day that don't go by that I strategically think of some scenario in my head. People coming in here from this side, where am I going to go? Or they coming through here, what am I going to do? This I can't even. I can't stop it from happening, even when I was a little kid. So I'm always strategically thinking of scenarios. Like, for example, my good friend next door, right? So he's talking trash. So he had two or 3 of his buddies over, right? So he was like, "Yeah, man, we're gonna kick your ass today. It's just you." And I just looked around the room, and then I backed up in the doorway, and then I smiled. He said, "I hate you," because he knew what I did. I moved to an opening. It's this wide. I backed up into it, and then I sit there and smile because only one of you at a time can get to it. Not all 4 of you, but one at a time. That's how you're gonna have to face me. So when I walked in that little doorway, and I just smiled at him, he knew exactly because he's from the military, so he knew exactly what I did. But that's my personality.
Wow, man.
I'm always thinking of things.
So you work out at a specific gym? Are you training fighters? Or
no,
mentoring anybody?
Right. I've tried over the years, but a lot of times the coaches they be so insecure and upset, not even talk to them and say, "Hey, I don't want it. I don't want to take over your gym. But I'd like to help some of your fighters." Right. Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. And then I just grab them And these be the ones they ignored. You know how they got their own inner circle. They got them. So I said, let me go grab one of these kids. Ain't been had much time with the trainer. I started working with them, and I know how to teach because I know how to just keep bombarding them with different things.
Right.
It's not always they can't learn. It's your technique sucks. You got to keep trying. You got to keep trying, and then they may get it. They be like, wait a minute. I said, yeah, that's it. And then I said, wait a minute, he's got natural ability.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, now I'm about to start really working with him. They yank him from me.
Wow.
Like, I just got started. Now you done put him in the inner circle with you guys. I did that 3 times. And then the last one was a girl, young girl. She's about like 12. I said, all right, I'm done. Because I was working at the time 12 hours in a power plant.
Right.
And get off of work after 12 hours and come over there.
And it's like most businesses, you know, because you have the pedigree and you have the resume, and that's amazing how you use the perfect word, insecure. You know, if you go in there and you make somebody successful, it's you that's done it, not the person who runs the gym.
Right. It's just like it's just like when I was talking the other day, how you got to be the best person you can be. Now, what I mean by that is you can't be a liar, a cheater. You can't be a user, or you can't be certain traits. Right. Because if you are, it's gonna bleed into what you do in the ring. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, for example, there was this MMA guy. He wanted me to help him out, and he got a hold of my wife, and I said, okay, I'll come out. So I just kind of watched, see how it worked out. Okay. And then I said, hey, you have any tapes or anything? You know? So yeah. So then I watch it. I'm like, what kind of crap? The dude, he's shorter. The guy was taller. They both was intermediate level. They low skill. And so he throws a couple punches. The tall guy goes like this. All his arms are way up here. And then I said, why didn't you hit him in the stomach? You not one time did you ever even engage in doing that. I said, why'd you do that? You got insecurity issues. I mean, you got not insecure, but you got issues with, what's the word? Commitment. So you got commitment issues. And then he looked at me like I got told on him.
No, wow.
Right, because outside, see, that's the thing. I don't know him from nobody, but based on his actions, I know he's got issues with commitment. Because he would not engage with that guy. He would not engage. He was there. All he'd do was just take this next step and get in there and get in the fight. He didn't want to get in there, get all the way in there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're gonna take some, you're gonna give some, but you in that exchange. He didn't. You know,
you gotta get used. You gotta get used to getting hit. It's boxing. You're gonna get hit.
Right. So that's why you gotta try to have as least faults as possible. Now, I did have a fault and I didn't trust referees, or no, I didn't trust judges that they were going to give me a fair fight. Right. So that was my insecurity. You know, that could make me fight too hard. I want to make sure I win. But I got to hit him with all these extra points, or else they're going to cheat me. So that can kind of play to your mind. Yeah. You know, so that was a weakness I have. So, but the other stuff, I had no issues. I had no issues with manipulation, because it's all tactics. It's not. I can use it without emotion. They're tactics. I can, like, for example, a guy's doing well, and you want to test him out. The bell ring, hit him late. It's not being dirty, but hit him just enough to sting. Not really trying to knock him out, but the bell go ding, and then he go. See what happens.
Yeah.
Sound like Bernard Hopkins.
He over there, he all pissed off. Man, drink some water. Come on, Cleo, drink some water, man. Drink. I don't want no damn water. I'm kicking his ass, man. The bell ring. So I got you. I got you now.
Yep.
I got you. Because I know what you're coming out to throw. You're not gonna come throw your left hand, you're right-handed. You're gonna maybe throw the jab so you can throw your right hand, but you're gonna do that. And you're gonna give me an extra warning that you're gonna throw it. You're gonna do this. So I'm gonna hurt you. When you do that, you just gave me warning. Here it comes. But I already know it's coming. And I'm already positioned for you to throw it. So when you throw it, you're gonna miss. And then I'm gonna counter you instantly.
Yeah. Get them
you're gonna be reached, and I'm gonna counter you instantly. And now you're gonna be like, what the hell? The hell happened here? So you can try it once, but some people it don't work. It don't work. One time somebody hit me like the bell rung. I said, whatever. I went on, sat down. The bell. We're fighting. Ding. Whatever. You know, because it's a game. It's a tactic.
Yeah.
I didn't look at it. You dirty mother. It's a tactic. He's trying to throw you off. You're doing good.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. You're free to think when you're not emotionally tied to your tactics. You're free to think and see things for what it is. But if you have issues and you're in there fighting, you're gonna take it personal. You're gonna be emotional about it, and that's not the place to be. Emotions. You gotta be determined. You can't have those. You know.
Can't be emotional. And you got any questions, good brother?
Yeah, I got a question. You know, even though we spoke on the phone a few days ago, man, but it's great to be talking with you, Joe. Man, a big fan of yours. Followed your career. You know, I was kind of looking back at some guys, man. I told you I ran into Lonnie Bradley. You know, you was in that middleweight class, man, with like Lonnie Bradley, Reggie Jackson, Reggie Johnson. Bradley, Quincy Taylor. Cool. Yeah, you was class of all them guys, man. Would you like to fight? Got to fight one of them guys, man. Jorge Castro was in that class.
To fight any of those guys would have been like, man, that because the middleweight was just beast, man. They had so many guys. Gerald, who's the guy Gerald fought? McCullum fought. Who was the last guy Gerald McCullum fought?
Nigel Ben.
Dude, they had so many. Dude, that was like the best era for middleweights, man. It was loaded with talent. Yep. So that's what you want. You want to be in the mix of that because that's what you dream to do is to beat the best. You know, to not have them would.
When exactly did James Toney come around?
James Toney was already established. He was already fighting. I was still trying to build up to 6 and 8 rounds and trying to master it. You know, like you fight fights at 6 and at 8, and I got to do more running. Or I ran out of stamina. Or I'm not. This is not fueling the style that I'm trying to fight. I got to do more. So you got to up it and get it just right. So yourself.
I worded it wrong because you started your career in '88. So James was already established. I worded it wrong. But
that's okay. But James, he was my favorite current pro fighter. He was middleweight, and he didn't take no smack off of nobody. He didn't play games. He's like, you want to fight? I'll fight you right now.
James,
that dude was cool. He was cool.
He never got the Eubanks or Ben fight because I'll never forget when he disrespected. He did everything but cuss them out on international TV. He told Nigel Ben he'll smack him and his mama. Man, I fell out my seat in the living room. I laughed for 3 days straight. That was the worst. And they didn't fight him because of that. That was the funniest goddamn thing.
He was my role model. He was my he was he was showing how a champion's supposed to be. If you a champion, you supposed to look around and see anybody left. Oh, how about you? You want to fight?
Yeah.
That's it. You the best. Don't want to be playing no games and making you wait and playing all that. That's not really sincere, man.
Right.
So
right.
Watching him do it, I got to see him do it, and I'd see him at the fights, and he was always cool, but he he's a great guy.
I hear a lot of good things about him. I hear some mixed things about him. People don't like him too much or whatever. But
he said what he said. He say whatever he was come to his mind, and then the media and the public be all they have it shown in a different kind of light.
Yeah.
Stylistically,
he's one of my favorite fighters. Stylistically, he's one of my favorite fighters, man. That guy, inside the pocket, he's so fun to watch.
Yeah,
so fun to watch in the pocket. I'm like, man, how's he standing? I've seen him stand in front of certain guys, and they've missed everything.
Dude,
I'm like, God damn.
That's a hard style to fight, but it's all based on you going after his head.
Yeah,
so you can't. It's an illusion. It's a tactic. It's like you can go ahead and try like everybody else, but you better have something else in mind to try to do.
Right,
hitting where you can hit him in the body and all that, and then say, hey, the headshots will come, but I gotta score and I gotta get these punches in.
Right.
Because trying to hit him, those guys are masters at what they do.
Yeah. Just abandon ship. Abandon ship. Don't even bother trying to hit him in the head. Just
don't even do it. Don't do it because he's gonna come back and pow.
Yeah. Shoulder roll. Man, that's crazy, man. I remember when he fought John Ruiz. I was just watching it like, why is Ruiz even trying to hit him in the head? He countered him all night long. And if James was a natural heavyweight, the things he hit Ruiz with, Ruiz would have been asleep by like round 6 or 7. I seen him slip a jab, and the hand speed that he carried his hand speed all the way up to heavyweight. And I remember when John just threw a lazy jab out, and he slipped it and brought over the right hand and hit him right on the side of his head and knocked all the sweat off his head. I said, you see that right there? If he had heavyweight power, John would have been asleep. I mean, it was crazy, man. But James, it was, stylistically, he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. Now, let me ask you, Joe. What? Well, kind of asked that already, but do you get that urge, like just to get a hold of a fighter out the mud and see what you can do with them, and like take them through the amateurs and through the pros? Do you get that itch to do that?
It's just like this. It's just like you like sweets. You like sweets, or what thing you really love, and you get cravings for? It's the same thing. It's like you may crave a certain type of hamburger or some type of sweet. That's how it is for me. I
like cucumber salad.
So anyway, I'll be like thirsty. I'll be having them feeling like I'm thirsty. I wish I could just hit somebody. I want to fight. I want the contact. Yeah. But what helps me is when I spar. When I shadow boxing, being in sports all these years, I learned that I naturally go into hypnosis state of mind, and I can make everything disappear and it just be me and that virtual fighter that I'm fighting, and I'm literally focused and involved in that, and it kind of, it's like it does soothe the craving for sparring or craving to fight, because when I really go hard. I don't have a medium or a light, and the way my body's made up, it's like I understood what being heavy-handed is.
Right.
I didn't know what they meant by that. But basically, heavy-handed is like I can't throw punches without my whole body going. It's natural. When I pick up something, I'm picking up my whole body. Everything I do, my whole body's involved. So I try to throw something fast, the body's coming with it. It's like there's no, it's the body. So it's like kinetic energy from your feet all the way up. It's all coming. It's nothing I can do about that. It's just natural. I have a natural ability to use my whole body. Even when I'm jabbing, I'm throwing my whole body and momentum and energy to the target. It's just hard for me to snap it. Right. That's why I got the nickname Sledgehammer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like Popper. I don't. If I was able to do that, I would knock people out. You know, but I didn't have it. I hit different. That's all I can say. And it's more like sledgehammer, like crushing blows, not, you know, where after you get done fighting, now you got some ligament issue because they're crushing like blunt object. I'm a quick striker, but I'm not fast. I strike quick. That's all.
Is there anything? Well, before I ask that question, Trick, you got any questions for the champ? You on mute, brother?
Yeah, my bad. I guess so. What's different today in boxing that that's going on today that you didn't experience back in your day?
I think it's the corners. It's the corners and the trainers. We had. I grew up. We had 3-4 coaches. We had one that was from the military. He was in charge of exercise, and you already. We had another one. He was smooth. He was professional. He you know how to do the shoulder rubs, and he had style. You know, he was like the pro, man.
Right.
And then we just had my dad teaching the basics, and we had another teacher. He was a professor. So I mean, we just had some smart people, and they had diverse. So we had a lot of that. So it was like, whoever's right is right. Back in the day, it was one person or people teaching the same style. So if you fought one, you fought them all. They all had the same tendencies. Making the same mistakes because they're treating everyone as a bunch coming from a mental mind state of I'm making them like me, and that's wrong. That's a mistake. See, I grew up, so I look at the fighter. I look at okay, he's a little short for his weight, but he likes to swing, so I'm gonna give him what he needs. I'm gonna show him how to slip, and I'm gonna help him. If he's tall, I'm gonna help him to take advantage of his height because he's got an advantage. Teach him how to spin or do the bull style, you know, leg, you know.
You see,
spinning and so,
everything you're saying. I like that, and I can tell you'd be brilliant in the corner. I can tell because you understand things. Go ahead. Like one, I noticed too. The coaches be acting like they want to fight the fighter more than the fighter. They're like, you look at my boy gonna fight. It's like, you just got, you dummy. You just got. Now you're in the corner, fighting off of your emotions. You're fighting. You're using him vicariously. You're not looking at his best interest. You know, you just gotta keep punching. You gotta keep punching. You're talking from yourself. He don't need to keep punching. He may not need to keep punching. What he need to do is you may need to be objective and be like, you know what? You always taking the lead. How about you just let him lead, and then you counter his ass, and the whole fight may change just like that. Just that comment. So they got to be objective, not emotional. Wow.
How you gonna tell me something you all emotional in it, thinking about yourself? You ain't even thinking about me. You think about me when you start looking bad because it makes you look bad.
I got you.
See, that's why I say you got. If you got emotionally involved at the press conference and you walking around upset, you just got.
But let me ask you a question. I know I asked you earlier, but let me reiterate. Do you follow the sport today, like as of late? Like
I'm working on it. You know, we had when I had to retire, I had to like start all over with my life, and I had to find a good job. Then I had to work on a career, and so I found a career, and so now I'm going toward the end of that career, and now I can come back.
Right.
It just seemed like it's just right. It's ready. It just seemed like all these legendary fighters are coming together, waking up, and say, hey, let's just make things better around here, man. Because this is what we're seeing. Some of this stuff is ridiculous. And then when you hear, oh, you're doing great there, like I experienced that a few times at some nationals with a different coach. We were like, let's say it's a state team or a regional team, and you got some guy acting as a coach. Yeah, you're going good there. It's just like, okay, tune out, click. I got to do the coaching myself. Okay, all right. Seems to be I'm doing okay with the jab, but maybe I need to throw more jabs, set him up for some things. So I'm sitting there. I tune the dude out. I'm trying to think, okay, what I need to do. Okay, pick up the pace a little bit more. Blah, blah, blah. Bell rings. So it doesn't matter. Even after the fight and I win, he's thinking he done a great job. And he's like, you're going good. Keep going. Yeah. Keep moving. Just give me some water, man. Don't even say nothing. That's bad.
Wow.
That ain't helping me.
Wow.
I've had to do that. And a lot of fighters had to do that over the years, especially as amateurs. So we learn a lot in the amateurs.
Man, I think the reason why this is great because I think you'd be a pretty damn good coach. I think because you read these corners. A lot of the things, first of all, when I watch fights, a lot of us in the chat, we watch fights on mute because I don't like listening to the commentary. It biased as hell. And it's upsetting because a lot of these guys be retired fighters, but then they've turned company men. You know what I mean? And I don't like it. But I like to unmute so I can hear the corner.
Yeah.
And one of the brothers who's normally with us, like on my Sunday show, his name is Stormy. I'll slide you his information before we get out of here. He's a former trainer. He's out of Chicago. And he, some of the stuff that comes out of these corners, it'll make you go crazy, and some of these coaches be lying to their fighters. And that's something you said that was really, it was really on point. A lot of these coaches, come to think of it, they're living through their fighter. If they were 20 years younger, what they would do in that situation. You can't go of what you would do because maybe the fighter you're coaching don't have the same talent that you had.
That's right, because I know the game and I know tactics, and I haven't been rude, right. But I looked at some of them trainers like I'm gonna beat your ass too. I look at them and give them the look. And they be emotional. They be emotional. Oh, well, you gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So you gonna think you're gonna coach from a state of fear, or you gonna be in reality, in the moment.
Well, let me. I'm glad you said that. Let me ask you a question. Your former opponent that you actually beat, Derrick James, he's hot right now. And he's had some success. And he had the hottest fighter, in my opinion. He's still the hottest fighter in boxing today, in Errol Spence Jr. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, I went out to Vegas.
Yeah.
And I did pick Errol to win 6-round TKO. That's the way I called it. But the intangibles, I didn't know Errol would look like he forgot how to fight by the second round.
Dude,
I had no idea. I'm sitting there watching like, what the hell is really going on with this kid?
Man, it was messed up.
I didn't know what was going on. It was so bad that when we was leaving the T-Mobile, even cats from Omaha was like, we'll take the win, but I don't know what the hell was wrong with Errol. Everybody was saying that.
Yeah,
So I said, look, I don't know what's going on. My question to you is, in your opinion, in your professional opinion, because I'm just a guy, went to the fight, but I'm not the pro. In your professional opinion, by round 2, what would you have told Errol to do?
It's two left-handers fighting, which is a nightmare. And the thing with two left-handers is you got to be able to use all the types of jabs that you have. You have jabs to keep somebody at distance.
Yeah.
Control the pace, set up punches. But you also need that jab that'll sting the hell out of somebody when you throw it, sting them good, a deterrent. And it forces you your way in. He can't go like this.
Right.
You can't. It's coming. It's coming hard, and it's coming. So you need strong jabs to break into the left hander so you can throw those shots once you get in there.
Right.
You can't be throwing this here. That's not going to work. And then of course he didn't have any lateral movement. And he was in the wrong place the whole time, and mentally, it's just like there was a big disconnect. And then the whole fight, I was just like going off, like, what? This is something not right. Then the referee ushering him and staying and lingering around his corner. I said, something is wrong here. Something is foul. And then the doctor became Team James. No, he's just coming in there every time they come in. And I was like, something ain't right. It's weird. And then I found out that there was a video that came out about neurologist who was talking about the damage, brain damage.
Oh, I know the video you're talking about.
And he was unable, and they explained everything. And I said that was why he couldn't move. He didn't really have balance. He couldn't really move in the angles because you're playing left hand, right hand, and you may not see it. They're bouncing. But as soon as you get the position, you fire.
Let me elaborate for a minute. Now, let me talk to the chat for a minute.
Yeah.
Chat. Y'all see what just happened? Chat. Let me talk to the chat for a second. Chat. Smash my mother effing like button. You see what just happened? Our good brother just referred to a video from a doctor. And you see, when you put information out, things get lost in the shuffle. Our good brother Joe just referred to that guy as a neurologist. Joe, that guy was not a neurologist. That guy was like a gynecologist or something. Anthony, am I lying?
Wow.
That guy was not a neurologist. He was a doctor he worked with old people that can't walk or something. And what happened was some guy that has a weird ass channel, right? I know the interview because people sent it to me. And when I saw the name, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but the guy, the channel that had that guy on, he's a weirdo channel. He's a weirdo channel.
Okay.
And the guy, put it like this. If you have heart problems and a guy says, wait, I'm a doctor, and he's telling you what to do, and then you say, well, thanks, doc. What kind of doctor are you? And then he tells you you're a dentist. He's a dentist. What the hell? You done told me how to fix my heart, but you're a goddamn dentist? Well, that's what happened. Our good brother 78 Sports TV had on a real doctor. And he gave a real opinion. I'll send you that interview. Basically what I was trying to figure out was Errol Spence, had he had that fight with Bud after he flipped his car, I'd have said, hey man, that car accident fucked him up. He need to hang it up. But he came after he flipped his car. He was thrown from the car and everything else. He came back and fought Dana Garcia. And then he fought Udenis Ugas. And he kicked both their ass. So I'm past that car accident thing. But what you did say was correct. He did look off in that fight. His jab wasn't working. And every time he threw the jab out there, Bud was on his ass. You know, it was weird to me. I said, what the? It seemed like he forgot how to fight that night. It was just weird to me.
Right. It looked like he wasn't even zoned out or
zoned out. Thank you.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, brother, we left the T-Mobile.
So that's why when the guy was talking, I was like, well, okay. He wouldn't, it's like he just never moved side to side. So, okay, so maybe that's what, you know.
Bud couldn't miss.
But I never saw the other fights.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So, yeah, that's why I asked you, what would you have told him? Because I don't think, because I was there live. I couldn't hear the corner work.
Right.
But I gotta believe that Derek had to have been telling him something productive, but I don't think Errol could execute. That was the issue.
Right.
What do you do if a fighter can't execute to be successful? What's the next rabbit you got to pull out the hat? What would you have done in that situation?
No,
it's tough. It's tough. It's very tough.
You know, it is. It was just hard for me to fathom that he had all this time, had time to spar with the left-hander, and now you act like you don't even. He never, not one time, did any type of moving around and shifting, trying to get position. So I would just try to shift. I would just push for him and push for him to. You're in the middle, man. You're right there in the target zone to be hit with a straight left, man. I gotta just tell him to rotate counterclockwise, stay clockwise, and try to put some punches together. I would have to just try to plead to his willpower, his spirit, because it seemed like he just, and I don't know how well Derek knows about left-handers. He has the left-handed fighter, but you know what I'm saying.
Right. I really want to go back and watch the fight because I want to listen to the corner work. I never really like listened to it, but I was like, holy cow, what is going on? To watch that live, I said, you know, Bud is good, but is he that good that he neutralized everything that Errol tried to do? He was getting hit with everything.
Right. He didn't even have to do anything but stand there and throw the punch. He didn't have to do any of that hard left-hander work.
Right.
Constantly working to get the position.
I like what your wife said. She said he looked zoned out. Everybody said that. He didn't, to me, when we was there, they showed them on the screen, and you know, Bud was warming up, hitting the pads, and he was ready for business. They go to Errol's locker room. He still got the hand wraps on, and he's like looking into space and just going like this. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with him? But I didn't say it out loud. I said, uh-oh. But it's Vegas. That's all I said. And my family in the chat, y'all know where I'm going with that. I said, it's Vegas, man. And by the way, my brother Main Event Mark, he said, that guy that people are thinking a neurologist, he was a geriatric caseworker. That was his title. You see? Yeah. He was a geriatric caseworker, and he said it during the interview.
Boy, I tell you.
He said it. And that clip went viral. I had people sending it to me, and I listened to it. I looked down. I said, hey, man, this channel, there's something wrong with this guy anyway on that channel. But the guy talking, I said, what did he say he was? I said, why ain't that going viral? He's so about brain work, and he's a geriatric caseworker? Okay. Man. People just forgot. They just breezed right over that. It was insane.
He got me too, along with a lot of other folks.
I mean, wow. I mean, wow. But these are the things. That's why the internet is a very special place, man. We got to be very careful. We got to be very, very careful. But it's all good though. But I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because a lot of people didn't know. But I'm gonna forward you the interview that our brother 78 Sports TV had. He had a real doctor on it. He had a real doctor explaining. And I don't think it has anything to do with the car flip. Could it be he can't make 47 anymore? I don't know.
What was it? Why it was like almost like why was it? That was like I wasn't thinking anything. I thought it was strange, but then I was like, okay, if I'm a trainer for the corner, I'm be like, you stop hanging around you are swaying the judges. That's what I was like. Well, what's the referee hanging around? I'd be like, shoot, get over there. Go in the neutral corner. Don't be standing over here acting like you wait.
So you're saying the atmosphere looks strange to you?
It was the whole thing was strange, and then the doctor, he's over there looking like something's about to happen to him. So I'm like, is there something wrong with him?
I thought they were going to stop it after round 5 or 6 because the doctor kept going over there. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with him?
I've never seen that.
Wow.
That was weird. So that's why it was easy for me to buy into something wrong with the dude. Even though, I haven't been following him. I'm just getting back into fighting. And I saw one fight. It was before the accident. And I was like, that's the guy that need to be fighting right there. He was fighting. I said, that's how you're supposed to. He should be fighting him. There was an older fight, but I was like, yeah, if that would have been a great fight.
If you look at Errol Spence's whole catalog, a majority of it is right here on YouTube. The guy that fought Bud Crawford, that was not the guy. And it was creepy to me. It was creepy. And I just chalked it up to Vegas. All my people in the chat, y'all know what time it is when I say that. I said, man, it's Vegas, baby. It's Vegas.
Right.
Vegas again. That's look, I'm not saying, and I'm not blaming Bud for anything. I'm just saying everyone can agree that Errol didn't look right. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I'm not taking no credit away from Bud because whatever was wrong with Errol, Bud went in there and did what he had to do. What was he supposed to do? I think he carried Errol an additional 3 rounds. I think he carried him.
Yes, he did.
He could have got him out of there in 5.
I don't even, that I saw where he spared him.
Yeah.
He spared him in so many ways.
Yeah, he was nice about it.
In so many kind of ways. Yeah, I picked up on that too.
Man, it's the business of boxing is it's weird. It's weird.
Right. So now you see why I have the built-in thing of having to deal. I've had to deal with politics in the amateurs, and when you're dealing with money in the pros, that's why I had that insecurity of I never wanted to make it look like we are tit for tat in the punch for punch, because then it's up to their discretion. I want to be like Ali. You see Ali hitting people, tying them up, controlling the pace.
I think things happen for a reason, but when it's happening in real time, a lot of times we don't understand. And for those of you, if you're religious or if you just want to brush it off to the universe, things happen with us that we don't understand, and it could piss us off for the time being. Yeah. But it may be for the greater good. I don't know what your mental state was after the Hopkins fight, and then you got sick, and you found out, hey man, no state will pass me to fight any goddamn way. So then you had to go get a conventional job. But maybe, and I'm not God, of course, but maybe there were some forces that was keeping you out of harm's way in the long run. Yeah. You said you was number 1 ranked in all 3 sanctioning bodies.
Yeah.
And somehow you couldn't get no smoke with any of the champions in the IBF and the WBO. They gave you Hopkins, But what happened to all those other guys? And then people were pulling out of fights on you. So you got a taste of the business before. I think you got a taste of the business before shit got ugly for you. Because we talk to fighters. We Freddie Pendleton. All right, I talked to him habitually, and they did that brother so dirty. Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. And this is gonna be a dumb question, but well, not really.
No question is dumb.
Do you think there's cheating in the sport of boxing? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Even his wife laughing.
Oh
man. Okay.
Yeah, that's what made me the fighter I was. I said, you can't cheat me with his ass laying on the ground. You try to cheat me on it.
I'm gonna show
I
you
won,
something.
hands down.
I'm gonna show you something. I need you to I need you and your wife to get close to the screen.
All right.
I need you to see this.
Okay.
I need you guys to see this.
Okay.
This right here. Let me share this screen. Let me share this screen because I love having this conversation because people always say, "Oh, Drew, your conspiracy theory," and you know, I'm like, okay. Now this is Freddie Pendleton versus Felix Tito Trinidad. Right? This is in the 90s.
Yeah.
I saw this fight live. It was on HBO, and I was at my aunt's house, and I'm just watching the fight, and I said, "Wow, this brother's kicking Tito's ass." And then out of nowhere, this happens. Now, Freddie's winning, but watch. Freddie's winning. He's out by... What the hell is this? What just happened?
Oh, my gosh.
Fight's over.
Oh, hell.
Fight's over.
Oh,
now, look at his face.
God.
Look at his face.
Are you serious?
Now, this was... Trick, what year was this? This was 90 what? 7?
Yeah, somewhere up in there.
Now, I watched this, and in the moment, I said, oh, okay, Tito wins with a body shot, okay. When I went back and watched the replay, I said, what the fuck happened? And I said, man, this goddamn brother done threw the fight.
Wow.
30 years later, Anthony calls me, he says, yo, I got a hold of Freddie Pendleton. I said, bet, because the first thing I asked him was about this fight. I said, brother, did you throw this fight? Did you throw this fight? You know what he said? Hell no, I got poisoned. And Freddie told us, he said, between the rounds, before this happened, he was winning. He was making faces at Tito, because all Tito had was a left hook. His position was all wrong. He put all his weight on his front foot, but he got away with shit like that. Right?
Yeah.
Now, Freddie said, in between rounds, his trainer put some shit up his nose and he smacked it away. He said, my nose ain't even bleeding. I ain't been touched. He says, oh no, you had something coming out your nose. He said, no, I ain't been touched. But he said, get that shit out my nose. He goes out and then this happens.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I went back and I found the real broadcast on YouTube and I just watched. Don't you know the round that he said it happened? They cut to the back to interview another fighter. So you don't see it.
Wow.
And then this happened. And I said, holy shit. They got him. And then I said, Freddie, you sure? He said, man, that motherfucker bought a brand new house sometime later. And he said, there's no way the money I paid him gave him the money to buy that new fucking house.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah.
And you got to remember back then, Tito was hot. He was a hot ticket. There's no way you could market Tito after getting beat by Freddie Pendleton. No way. But they got his ass. And Freddie stands on that. I'm going to play it for you again. Look. This ain't make no goddamn sense. Look at this. You're looking fine. Looking fine. Look, no reason at all. What happened? Body shot.
Wow.
He didn't get up.
Wow. It's right there in your face.
Wow.
Look at that. Round 5. He's high.
5.
Yes.
Look at that. And you see, in real time, you don't know what the hell's going on. When I saw the replay, I said, "What the fuck? What did you hit him with to make him do that?" Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Right.
Tito ain't hit him with anything.
No.
He's slipping. He was making Tito. This was the whole fight. Kept him in the center, and then this happened for no reason.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh wow.
Look at that.
He knew something was wrong.
He knew what was gonna happen. He knew what was gonna
Yeah,
happen.
he knew. It looked like
Unbelievable,
he
man.
off, like, oh, what?
Unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah, he did his nose. He was like,
Man, and I'm gonna tell you something. Things like that, it turned Freddie Pendleton off to the business so bad. I talk to that brother every day, and he's one of those what could have been stories.
Yeah.
He's been in there with Pernell Whitaker, and he lost the fight, but there was rounds he was kicking Pernell's ass. He told a story about how he beat up a heavyweight in sparring. I mean, Freddie talked big shit, but everybody that I've spoken to him, they said, no, everything is true. It all checks out. He was really a badass like that.
Wow.
And now, where I feel he should be, he's not.
right.
And that hurts me. And that's why I do these shows. That's why me and Anthony, we check for guys like you, guys like Freddie. You know what I'm saying? We done had Julian Jackson on here. My brother 88 Sports Talk, he had said, he asked, Joe, speaking of heavy hands, what's your thoughts on Julian Jackson?
Oh, that dude was no joke either.
Yeah.
I mean, powerful.
He was a powerful dude.
Powerful.
And you see, we had him on the show, and I geek out when I talk to guys like you. Because I used to be at home paying for the pay-per-views and going to the theaters to watch the closed circuit thing. I'm a supporter. I'm a supporter. I put my money where my mouth is. You understand?
I call those guys. Me and my younger brother, he was a knockout artist also, and we called them monsters. That was our name for all these other guys who go around knocking people out.
Right.
Because they're a monster to you. You're fighting a monster. You know.
Man, we had Reggie Johnson on the show a few times, and the business of boxing really, it's really bad. Now, let me point something else out. Leading up to the Errol Spence Bud Crawford fight, the announcement of that fight seemingly came out of nowhere. It was a hot ticket. Everybody wanted to watch. Everyone wanted to see it, but we were angry that for some reason it couldn't get done. People were blaming Errol. People were blaming Bud. There were some things that Bud did that, I was like, wow, brother, take the 40% because Errol's just a bigger draw than you. That's it. I always said, do it for the culture of boxing and do it for black people because they believe that black people can't have a blockbuster. So I said, these are two, number one and number 2 pound for pound in the world. All right, get together and get it done.
Yeah.
It was hard to get done. And then magically, I got an announcement. Someone called me and said, yo, get your ticket. It's going to get done. And I said, really? Out of nowhere. So I go to the presser some weeks later in New York. And Errol, first of all, there's no malice towards the brothers. They didn't hate each other, nothing like that.
That's good.
Which was great.
Yeah.
But the funny part was when Errol got the mic, he starts talking about the sanctioning fees, who's taking care of the fighters, right? And where does the money go? And I'm filming it, and I said, uh-oh. He's questioning the suits. They don't like that.
Right.
Because every fighter that I've seen talk about that, something happened to him. And then he shows up in Vegas, seemingly looking like he forgot how to fight. Do the math. Now that's just me.
Right. If you look at the past, they've always done that back in the game. The Italian mob back in the day, sipping the Mickeys in people's drinks or in their food. That was a tactic. They used and they still use. Certain things are still being done today, evidently. But it's when it comes to money, anything is possible. They'll do anything.
It is, man. And again, I'm not trying to put it on Bud. He did what he had to do. But everyone said that Errol didn't look right. And I'm just trying to connect dots. I said, hey, okay, he didn't look right. But at the New York presser, he was talking about how the business was messed up. The business was messed up. And it's like you don't talk about the big dogs without something happening to you. Now, I'm just saying.
That is true.
People act like this game is clean. It's dirty as hell. You just said poison in drinks. You just said that. You see? We've been here before is what I'm saying. It's a messed up and dirty game. And I'm just wondering what happened to him. It's sad, man. And again, I want to go back and listen to what Derrick James was saying, because I'm willing to bet he was telling Errol the correct thing he's supposed to do. He was telling Errol things that he knows Errol can do, but Errol couldn't execute at all.
I didn't, here's that other thing is, and I don't know their relationship as far as coaching or, like some people just move and just tell me, certain delivery. Then some guys, you got to get in on them, go in on them, and get your ass. Come on now. Come on, you know what I mean? Some guys got to have that. So it all depends on each person. You should know what you need to say to make that person be more active or straighten up or change. There's got to be something in there, but it didn't seem like. He didn't seem right. That's the whole thing, right?
That's weird. Some person in here named Arthur is saying, "Come on, your boy got exposed." Who's my boy? Is my boy Errol or Bud? Because Bud won. You want me to go there, Arthur? A black fighter won, asshole. A black fighter won, asshole. It was a win-win for me, asshole. Number 1 and number 2 pound for pound fought, and one of them won, asshole. I'm just asking, how the hell did Errol forget how to fight, asshole?
Yeah. That's why we're talking about this now, and the fact that it was easy to believe something that
I just asked the pro fighter.
It was that bad that I believed the video because it lined it up with. This is weird.
Everyone said it was weird. Now, everybody that's talking about excuses, really quick, is there cheating in boxing? Oh, I'm so happy. Joe, this is the brother I want you to meet. Stormy in the building. What's good?
Yo, what's happening, fellas? What's going on? I've been listening on my way home, but Bruce Lee comes first. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Take it away, Sensei. Take it away, brother.
What's going on with you, Joe?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. We've been talking behind the scenes about you, appearing on tonight's show, and I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, but hey, man, I've watched you during your career. You were a hell of a competitive fighter, man. I was telling these guys, hey, tune in and check Joe out against Derrick James, because he's hot right now as far as being a trainer.
Yeah.
But no, man, listening to you guys earlier when you were talking about your particular era, man, there was some killers. You can look up and down throughout the ratings. Everybody was a killer, including yourself. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It was just who gonna be on top next. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was during your era. So much respect to you and your accomplishments and everything. And unfortunately, the health problems and whatnot. But we're glad to see that you got your faculties, you got your health and well-being, and you got your family. So that's important as well.
That's right. And I'm also thankful for my mom. I was never a person that needed a crowd of people cheering for me and all that. But it was like my first fight, it was like in Springfield, Illinois. I'm like, this is going to be my first fight. I ain't going to have the headgear on, no shirt. And all these people, every time I went somewhere, he was like, I'm coming to the fight, I'm coming. And then it's time for the fight, and I look out there, and it's only a few people. And I was like, oh, man. And then my mom said, don't you dare think that way. These people out here done took their day off, money out their budget to come see you fight. So I don't care if it's 2 of them out there. You fight your butt off for both of them, and you go out there and shake their hand when you get done. So that was the other thing is I'm gonna give the fans their money's worth. That was the other thing. Absolutely. I'm gonna give them everything I can. I'm gonna do the best I can, but it's gonna be a show. It's gonna be a show. It ain't gonna be no match. It's gonna be a show. God damn, did you see that? Yeah, shit. You know?
Yeah, so, that's what's up. And hey, listen, I heard what you guys were talking about lately with the thing with Freddie. Man, this happens more than people know. There's another brother out here who has content that he puts up. It's called Scrapbook Boxing. And Scrapbook has a channel where he really covers the history of the sport. He's currently writing a book. He's almost finished with the book where he's talking about the plight of the black fighter in boxing. And a lot of what you guys were just talking about, like what happened with Freddie, what happened with yourself, you know, some of these things, stories that people need to know. That's what he's working on. And I can't wait until he's finished because he told stories on his channel. He's got videos up right now of fighters, you know, taking carriage rides to towns to compete and passing through certain regions. There's bodies hanging from the tree, you know, and those bodies were fighters who had come through and maybe won a fight that they were told they weren't supposed to win, or just because they were black, or just because of any other personal reasons. It was to send a message. And he tells the story of fighters taking those rides, sometimes with a cloth sack over their head, so nobody would see who's arriving, who's coming in. And when you think about what's happening today and how the scales of justice are so imbalanced, but they have a different way of doing things now, but it's really the same old story. And it's gone on since the inception of this sport. You know, the whole point of, you know, putting my slave against your slave, you know, tying that red bandana in one end of a corner and a blue one in the other, Democrat, Republican, this kind of thing, plantation owners, all of that stuff fits right in here. And so many people who don't know the history of the sport, they just go out there and say, well, he's Mexican, that's my people, I support him. Or he's from Argentina, I support. They don't know the history of this sport.
Right, yeah, it's just like you mentioned, and they still battle each other today to do their own form of oppression. This group, the Democrats and Republicans, they play the game. Now it's our turn. We're going to do this. We're going to remove these. We're going to remove this. We're going to remove that and see how that works for them. Oh, we're going to change this policy. Oh, we're going to make sure there's no man near them. We're not giving any funds to or aid to anyone, but no men can't be in the house. You know, that's stuff. So it's like they every year they get to vote and decide how it's going to be laid out for us.
Yep.
Basically.
And if you don't have the type of representation and image for representation that they want, they will ostracize you and keep you on the outer rims. This is why, like, a number of fighters, you could wonder, like, man, why don't this guy get a title shot? He good. He could be the next champ. And you look up and the guy they shift him around in the ratings. Sometimes they drop him out of a rating. A guy could be the best fighter in the world. They don't even put him in the pound for pound. This is like all of these kind of things. And when we talk about it, sometimes people get angry with us for saying factual information, because we're living in a society now where things have kind of flipped. Ethics have gone out of the window, and people say things now like, just lie to me, you know. Well, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna tell you the truth, and you're gonna choke on it because you're supposed to, you know. Because anything worth having is worth working for. This participation trophy society, people getting their rear ends powdered and pampered, and saying it's okay because you participated, you were a part of it, so you know you're still a champ. No, you're not. The champ is over there, a guy you may never even see or meet because you ain't even good enough to get to him. But for somebody to tell you, oh, you all right too, you know, no. That's why I was just saying, you guys from your era, all those guys was killers, man. Like I said, including yourself. And if you guys were in this present era, some of these guys would never get a chance.
Never get a shot. You would never get a shot.
Get a chance.
Never.
They don't have what it takes. And I talk about it all the time, Drew, and Trick will tell you. These coaches, I heard y'all talking about that a little bit too. Man, I come down hard on them, bro, because I know the difference. And when a coach don't have it, we just saw a fight last night. I don't know if you watched it, Navarrete and Valdez. Eddie Reynoso, who's won Coach of the Year a couple of times, put a guy in Oscar Valdez in the ring who don't know how to throw a straight punch. He doesn't know how to throw a straight punch. All he's doing is winding up with hooks and looping shots to a guy who all he has to do is slip out of the way by leaning back.
He did that all night.
All night long. And then receive straight punches from the opponent on his face all night long, to the degree that his eye looked like a softball was under the eyelid.
Ridiculous.
Man.
And none of the announcers or anybody said one thing about the trainer. They never said one thing. How can you bring a guy so ill prepared to a match like this and expect it to be a, quote, war?
Unbelievable. Watch this, John. I want the chat to pay attention. Let me pull this up real quick. I want the chat to pay attention. Watch this, y'all. Now, I hope y'all paying attention. Even my little trolls and my little haters. All right? Watch this, y'all. You already know what I'm about to do. Joe, have you ever heard of Tyson Fury?
Yeah.
Heavyweight champion of the world, WBC heavyweight champion of the world?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know that he's not allowed into the country of the United States? You know he's not allowed here?
No, I didn't know that. How was that?
Wow. Glad you asked. Glad you asked. Now, chat, you see the brother said he didn't know. Well, he's affiliated with a man by the name of Daniel Kinahan. You heard of him?
No.
Okay, well, short story. He's an Irish gangster. And he got into the business of boxing. Have you ever heard of a boxing promotion called MTK Global?
Wow. No, I haven't heard of that.
Okay, they were hot for a second. They were hot. They signed all these British fighters, and Daniel Kinahan was based in Dubai for a little while, and the WBC got into bed with him, and Bob Arum at Top Rank got into bed with him, and fighters were going down there because he had a bag. And he was just throwing money around, right? And by the way, MTK Global is short for Mac the Knife. You know the song?
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, that sharp, babe. Yeah, had such teeth. That Mac the Knife Promotions, MTK Global. So you find out that Daniel Kinahan is an Irish gangster. So I said, wow, that's alarming. So now I'm concerned about the fighters going over there. I said, look, man, I don't know what they're doing over there in the UK, but that's not my business. I got a problem when the American fighters are going over there. And guess who was one of the fighters that went over there to talk some turkey with him?
Who's that?
Bud Crawford. And I lost my mind. I said, brother, why are you in Dubai talking to that guy? That's like, you ever imagine getting out your car, you put in the drive, you get out your car, and you see a kid talking to a known drug dealer?
Right.
They're like, whoa, get the fuck, what are you doing? Get in the house.
Right.
And he's 16. No, get your ass in the house and stay there. You don't talk to him. Well, that's how I felt, right? And Bob Arum was doing business with him. He paid Daniel Kinahan about $8 million in consulting fees. And I'm like, what the hell is that? What does this kid know? Because Daniel Kinahan is basically a kid compared. Bob Arum's like 104 years old, legitimately. And it's like, what is he paying this dude in reference to boxing that Bob don't already know? That was strange, right? Right before Wilder Fury 3. That was strange. Then Bud goes to Dubai to talk turkey with him. He's taking pictures with Tyson Fury. Then people tell Mauricio Suleiman, or Silly Man, as I call him, because he's silly. We said, hey, man, this guy's an Irish gangster. And he put in writing, I am not Interpol. I am not the police. I am dealing with Daniel Kinahan based off of what he does for the sport of boxing. Basically, he said, kiss my ass. So we said, okay. A week later, the U.S., the United States of America, issued a $5 million bounty on that man's head. He's on the run right the fuck now. MTK Global vanished, and every fighter that was on that roster cannot come to the United States. Tyson Fury is not allowed here. He had a fucking mansion in Vegas. Had to give it up.
Wow.
He's not allowed here. The same Tyson Fury that was just suspended for steroid use. He said, I ate meat from an uncastrated boar. This guy named Martin Carefoot said, hey, man, yeah, I sold him the boar. He retracted that later and said, hey, man, look, I was told I was going to be paid to say that, but I didn't get paid. They said, well, you didn't sell him no boar? They said, sell him boar. We don't even have that animal on the continent in which we live. Whoa! What? You heard me? They don't even have boars in the UK. So he lied. And nobody sees anything. So when we talk about corruption, and Daniel Kinahan, several pictures with Tyson Fury, Bob Arum, Mauricio Suleiman. So when I get on here and talk about corruption, people get mad at me. Bud Crawford was just over in Dubai. Well, not just over there, but he was over there trying to see what kind of money they were talking about. And I said, brother, I don't care where you go. Just don't go to that motherfucker. An on-the-run Irish gangster with a $5 million bounty on his head, still at large.
Boy.
So when we talk about corruption, just think about, when I talk about things like that, it's been happening since before I was born, to Freddie Pendleton, to Deontay Wilder, and possibly to Errol Spence. Possibly. Because he spoke out against the sanctioning fees and the sanctioning bodies and where money's going and everything else. Savannah Marshall, who just got her ass kicked a couple of fights ago by Clarissa Shields. Clarissa she had to go over there and win that fight. Clarissa was like, yo, everyone's like, nah, take the rematch for fighting in Detroit, where you're from.
Yeah.
Savannah is on that no-fly list. She can't come here.
Oh, wow.
Wow. But when I bring it up, I'm racist and I'm a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, right. How about this? I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
That's
Prove
all.
me wrong.
That's all they mean.
Now, all the haters that are watching, I know you got ghost accounts. Get in my chat right now and tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. Because
the media won't talk about it. The media won't talk about it.
Their system is in place.
Yep.
Like a fine old machine.
So I said all that to say this, Joe. Maybe God saw something and said, you know what? I can't put this brother through this.
Yep. You know what? During that championship time, folks all around me was coming apart. My ex, it was just a mess. I was like, hey, we're gonna get a divorce. And then it was like, just be nice to each other. And of course, they always wait for this payday. It was like everything around me was about other stuff. The whole time was about being focused and being the world champion. The thing is, it wasn't about to be rich, because rich don't mean nothing. Right. I wanted to dominate I wanted to have 2 and 3 belts. I didn't want to just go in there and get a belt and get some money and leave. I wanted to dominate. That's what I wanted. The money will come with it. That was what drove me. But the people around me, and you're right, I would have ended up had I won and nothing went wrong with me. There's no telling. They'd
have got that strap off of you, brother, because there was no. Oh my God, this gets deep. They don't have no faith in a black fighter unless they're moving a certain way. Bernard Hopkins had all the talent in the world, but he didn't have one breakout fight until he beat Felix Trinidad. But the whole time he was undefeated not undefeated, but he was undefeated when he was a champion. Well, at middleweight for X amount of time. They didn't see value in him at all. His breakout fight, after all of that shit, his breakout fight was against Felix Trinidad. That's a crime. That's a crime. And there's a reason why people get mad at Floyd Mayweather, but he moved a certain way because he was supposed to.
Yeah, smooth.
He was supposed to. He proved a few things. He was running around here saying the belts don't matter. The belts don't pay bills. People got mad with him. He was never undisputed. But guess what? Look at his bank account. Look at his bank account. And do the belts mean any fucking thing? No. Right now, we have, and listen to this, we have 4 undefeated white belt holders. Dimitri Bivol, Artur Beterbiev, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. None of them are American, but they're all white. One fight away from undisputed. 2 of them at light heavyweight, 2 of them at heavyweight. 1 fight away from undisputed. There is no pressure for them to fight other than from the real supporters. I just want to see who comes out on top. I like Artur Beterbiev. I like Dimitri Bivol. But there's no pressure for them to fight. The WBC says they can fight, but not for our belt because of the Russian conflict. We ain't got nothing to do with that. The hell? So you holding them undisputed because of that? These belts don't mean shit. They've devalued it. Mauricio Suleiman, please tell me, brother, what the fuck is a goddamn, I'm cursing now, I'm sorry. What the hell is a franchise championship? What is that? It's a duck belt. Right when Jamal Charlo was ready to fight Canelo Alvarez, that status pops up, right? With all of these rules, Canelo vacates the real WBC strap and Jamal picks it up. So then Canelo did not have to fight Jamal. We didn't get that fight. You understand? We got sanctioning bodies devaluing their own property for the sake of business. Canelo is good for business. That's how they see it.
Yeah, they're doing it with all the sports. They're ruining it. Yep. All of it, basketball, all of it. That's why all this nonsense is. It don't make sense to people who've been playing basketball most of their life and following it, and all these changes and all these things. They're ruining it for the sake of money, which is, man. What do you say?
It's horrible. And like I said, people don't like it when I talk because I speak truth. I speak truth. And shout out to the trolls. I play with IP addresses now. More on that well, I'll just say that. I play with IP addresses now, so you will be found. It's funny how when I'm speaking truth on boxing, you know, trolls come out of nowhere because I've struck a nerve. I've struck a nerve. And I'm out here for the best interests of boxing and for the fighters. So instead of you trolling, how about reaching out to these fighters, getting them on your platform and helping them out, getting the word out?
A lot of folks that need care after need some type of assistance.
Yeah.
I mean, for what they put into, you know, the sport, man.
I mean, people are emotionally involved, you know, with what I say, or if I say something bad about a fighter, that they have some sort of sick, weird attraction, another man having a sick, weird attraction to another man. You know what that's about. But whatever, if that's how you living, that's how you living. But does anybody in this chat remember when I had Angel Man Freddy on here? I got off that live and I fucking shed tears. Because that's not the man that I came up watching. One of his eyes don't blink.
Damn.
He's messed up, man. And who's talking about Angel Man Freddy now? Other than me, Stormy, and Trick Nolte. Who's talking about Reggie Johnson right now? Other than us. There it is. Thank you. Look at the screen. That's not the guy I grew up watching, El Diablo. He's messed up. So instead of trolling here and sniffing dick, help these guys out. Get on your platform and talk about them, because conventional media is not doing it. We're not controlled here. ESPN ain't paying me.
Right.
The BBC ain't paying me. Top Rank ain't paying me. I get on here and say whatever the hell I want to say because I support the sport. How many of y'all even knew who Joe Lipsey is? How many of you knew? But you come around here trolling and acting a fool because you're an immature carpet eater. We trying to work here. We don't want corruption here. Two of the best pound for pound fought, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, did the suits get their hands in it and fuck one of them up? But no, you want to come in here and talk about Canelo and everybody else. I don't care about that redhead. He's not giving me what I want. You say Canelo, I'll say David Benavidez. Let him handle that work. Then come talk to me. And if I get a credential on Tuesday when they come to New York, what the fuck you think Drew Titan's about to do? I'm just going to ask a question in all my politeness. You're fighting the smaller Charlo. You're not fighting 160 Charlo. What made you come over to the PBC after all these years? Why are you fighting Jamel Charlo? Why did Jamel say to us, hey? Well, Jamal said, hey, it was my little brother all the time. Because, you know, little bro was at 154. So now he got to go up to 168.
Oh, no.
Is that really fighting the best when David Benavidez is right there? Y'all better hope, you Canelo Man fans, you better hope I don't get a credential, because I'm going to ask a question. And they're going to Fred Hawthorne me. You know what that means? I'm going to get escorted out for just asking a real question. And I'm cool with that. But y'all going to experience pain beyond hell 10 times over. Because what I do here on this platform, I have no filter. And there's nothing you can do about it. I speak the truth to the youth. I say, hey, youth, well, here's the truth. Better start wearing bulletproof. You fuck around and lay around. You know what I do. In Vegas, I was in the same penthouse suite with the Donaires, and then walk Sugar Hill. Nothing. Because he know what time it is. Ain't no need to talk. You's a cheater. And I firmly believe that you assisted in attempted murder. So there's nothing to talk about. Whatever I say on these lines, these internets, don't get it fucked up. I say it straight to their face.
Right. It is, man, it is so easy to manipulate this whole system, man. You know, you can live in Vegas and He's used to the climate, and then tell someone, hey, fight us, hey, short notice. And you go out there and you're dealing with the 100 degrees plus. It's just messed up how how the climate and the arrangement of the fight and the time, and it's like it's all banking on too. Also banking on don't let your father or a family member die because you might get an offer. They want to take advantage of you. You get divorced. Oh, he's feeling pretty bad. He's depressed. Let's make an offer with him. That's how.
Yep.
He got bills he got to pay. Now he got to. It's your worstest moment. What that's the part I don't care so much about. I don't want somebody at their worst as the fighter, but then you got folks they got power and they making the moves.
Well, I'm an advocate for a clean sport. And yeah, I do get emotional about it because I love the sport and the sport don't love me. All right. I pay money. For this, and salute to Trick Nolte. He had to bounce, man. Salute, brother. And thank you. I put my money where my mouth is. I support these fighters. I go to the fights. I pay for the pay-per-views. And I actually reach out to classic gentlemen like yourself. And even the women, I'm doing my part for a clean sport. I'm not out here clowning. This is not funny. You can die in that ring. And for you guys to choose to do this for a living, that is to be saluted.
Right.
So I appreciate you, Joe.
You real. Think about, I stayed in a housing project. It wasn't that bad. It had certain areas, but we did have other project housing where there were kids had something to do. And we helped. And my parents was very good at being the father and mother to a lot of the kids in a lot of different ways until even to this day. I mean, my dad's passed away, but my mom's still alive, and they go crazy when they see her because that was her role. Now, for them to get through all those hoops of not being profiled and locked up in the wrong place at the wrong time kind of thing. And then they got this system. You turn pro, you want to make some money with using your skills of fighting. And then you got this wall. You got this wall that you got to try to find a way out. You got to fight. You got to find somebody that wants to fight you.
That's right.
It's not always the best people, but you still got to fight. You still got to eat. And then you got to run into this mess. And which they end up a victim in the end. They've gone through this whole cycle, from a child doing well, and then you get up here and you got the politics, you got the oh my gosh.
What more can you do if you're training a fighter to be the best version of themselves, and then you turn right around and the whole other fight is the politics and bullshit? It's like a lose-lose. It's deflating. Yeah. We've had Randall Bailey on here. We asked him, do you miss the game? He says, no, I'm good working a 9 to 5. He hates it. And Randall was a damn good fighter. Randall Bailey was a damn good fighter. And he's out the game. He doesn't care about it. And it's salty. He does more attacking of the business than anything because he hated it. He hates it. He hates it.
No, it's very, yeah, it was, I understand exactly what he means. All the unnecessary. It was so much. I went through so much. I ended up with all these situations that I had to try to push through because of the time you're sitting there. You have talent. You want to fight the best, or you want to have an opportunity, but wait in line. You got to wait in line.
You was number one, and you still had to wait in line. This is amazing, and I hope the chat is paying attention. Number one had to wait in line. They was finding everybody else to get people ranked on the side of you, behind you, in other countries, and you right there, and you have to wait in line. The politics is nonsense. Before I forget, if your last fight against B-Hop, did your condition play into that fight any?
Yeah. The same thing happened when I was sparring, getting ready for the fight. That's the main thing I was hoping that wouldn't happen, since the doctors said they couldn't figure out what it was. So I was like, what do you want me to do? I'm spar 3 rounds, and then my throat started closing up. And then I started getting dizzy. I had to stop.
Oh, boy.
So it was like, that's all I had was my parents in my room. My back was already let me know that eve of the fight, hey, we're done with you. You lose. It's like,
You ain't even getting the ring yet.
my parents were with me since I was 8 years old fighting. I mean, I started, you know, they were with me, but they would. That's all we could do, you know, and it didn't work out. But that had to happen.
Yeah. And again, you can say your only loss was against a Hall of Famer. Your only loss, you know what I mean? But maybe things happen for a reason, right? And you can enter the business of boxing wise now, because you can see things for what it is. So you can actually mentor these up and coming fighters, male and female. And we know that boxing it reaches beyond the gym. You got to be smart, business savvy too. That's what it is.
Discipline, with determination, all those things that you work. You had to train, and you didn't have no crowd looking at you. There's no big stadium like a high school stadium where everybody's cheering because you made a layup and they jumping up and down. You going across the country fighting the monsters. You fight monsters across the country, and maybe your friends might hear about it.
Right.
So it was a lot of the work you had to do was, and it wasn't out front. It was you doing it.
I'm about to
getting in a gym somewhere.
I'm about to follow you on let me see if on Instagram, because our good brother
I'm not on Instagram. I don't even have anything on Instagram.
You don't?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Brother
send me
YouTube and
Facebook.
I haven't done much with YouTube, and I'm trying to get started on TikTok.
Oh, Facebook. I'm sorry. Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.
I'm sorry. Okay, y'all can follow Joe Lipsey on Facebook. One of my good brothers, Main Event Mark, he sent you a message on Facebook.
Okay.
And that's the interview that you guys need to watch. You and your wife sit through that, and that's our good brother 78 Sports TV. He had on a real doctor talking about Errol Spence.
Got you. I appreciate that.
It's in your instant messages. Let me turn it over to Stormy. Stormy, you got anything else, brother?
No, man. You guys were really cooking. I'm sorry I just came in so late, but you've really maintained a lot of what needed to be out there, even at briefing brother Joe on some things he wasn't aware of. But you see, that's how the main media does. They don't talk about the real things anymore to educate people, so they'll know what they're looking at or what they're not seeing. And this whole thing about the cartels being behind the scenes and having heavy influence, one of the things I like to add about that is that management group, promotional group, MTK, which is now defunct, they stole a lot of fighters from where these fighters and trainers and managers were, they were solidly establishing themselves, and they came and they muscled these guys. Some of them were taken by force. Some lives were threatened and everything, just how the bad boys do. That never really made the front pages. That never really made the headlines. And of course, ESPN, the world leader in sports, right? They never said anything about it, but they were totally in bed with these people.
Yep.
So just knowing that you could have a guy who's supposed to be the heavyweight champion of the world, in your studio dressed totally inappropriately and high on cocaine, and nobody is addressing it, but everybody is making light like, oh, this is the heavyweight champ of the world, and you know, this is how he acts, and you got to let him have his way. Where they do that at? You see, when Barack Obama was in the White House, he was held to a certain regard just for wearing a baseball. You remember that? And they gave him hell for it. They gave Michelle hell for wearing a sleeveless dress. But Mr. Trump was talking about grabbing women by the pee, and his wife had nudes that made the internet.
They said she was a call girl too. I don't know.
It's like the double standards are ridiculous here, and they don't talk about it, but we do. We put it out there, and some people don't like it. Some people are astonished by it because they don't know. If you've been fed crackers, sometimes with butter, sometimes a little jelly or honey on it, it'll feed you. But if someone cooks you a meal and you've got your vegetable, your starch, maybe some bread or whatever, you know, but it's like now you're being nourished, right? So that's how we bring it when we come on here to talk, because I'd rather be able to educate a two or a few than none. Yeah. That's
right. And you see, this is the right attitude is if you have a misconception about something and somebody corrects you because they care about you, then you accept it. It is not to be taken any other way but out of love. You didn't have to tell me. You guys didn't have to help me out or let me know about this. But y'all did because y'all care. So yes. that is me, and how I take when I see it, I'm being helped or being what's the word, informed about something that I've been misinformed about. I appreciate it. I don't be like, you know, that's, come on.
and let me tell you, brother, we appreciate you, you know, because listen, this is a hard business. It's hard in the ring. It's scary facing someone across the ring that could potentially take your life. And it's even scarier if you conquer that, whether win or lose, whether you get the nod, or like if you win by knockout or get knocked out, then your money got the nerve to be funny. You find out everybody's robbing you, from your trainers to your promoters and everything. You just fought for $500,000 and you're only getting $20,000. This is a scumbag business. And these are the things that I remind people on when I get you guys on here. I have Roy Jones on this damn show. You understand? He's like, it's different for him. What about some of the guys he fought? I had Roy Jones on here. I had Reggie Johnson on here. Reggie Johnson is a few rounds short of a pension in California. What is he going to do at 54 years old? Come out of retirement to get the pension? See, these are the stories. These are the things I address. Okay, but you know, it's tough, man. But brother, I ain't gonna hold you up anymore. I got your number. I really appreciate you, bro. We're gonna definitely have you back. I get the feeling you'd be an excellent trainer, man. Excellent trainer, man. And yeah, you have a high IQ. You have a high IQ. You know, listen, a lot of fighters ain't paying out the way they wanted to, but they excelled at being a trainer. Like Freddie Roach.
Right.
If you want to give them that credit.
Right. Fit in, you know, where they can be most effective because the system didn't work for them, you know.
Right.
But hey, somebody else may have that chance. Yeah, you want to pass it on. You don't want to hold on to it, and that's how it was given to me. People selfishly took their time off. They weren't paid to train us. They worked as a police officer. There was electricians. They were judges. My dad was a judge. We had the college professor. I already said that. Police. What was the other one? Army, ex-army, security. So we had some great men and women. My mother. I got to make sure I say my mom because she was involved also. So yeah.
But brother, thank you for your time, man. We definitely gonna have you back, man. Next big fight, we're gonna have like an all-star panel and get everyone's opinion, man.
Man, that'd be cool. I definitely want to try to keep up with the fight, especially if someone's coming. Try to do a little research and watch some of the previous fights and kind of get an idea, because that's kind of what I grew up with. Was you had all these dozens of fights in these tournaments, and you had to find out. I was taught you had to find out something about him. Give me something about this guy. Okay, he gets tired in the second round. He loads up a lot, and he's open. He's wide open, and he misses this and that. So you learn to just, if you can see someone for a few minutes, you at least have an idea about them and their style. Especially if they only have like 2 or 3 weapons, jab, right hand, and a hook. Those are real simple fighters. They're real easy to beat. You know what they're going to do. If they're not throwing one, then they got the other 2 punches to throw. You know what I'm saying? So,
man, listen, I'm definitely going to give you Stormy's information too, man, because y'all can talk X's and O's all night long. I mean, that's just brilliant. Oh, my brother Chi-Town's finest, he knows you guys. He says blessings and love to Betty Lipsey, an amazing woman. Yeah, the brother's in the chat. He knows you. Yeah,
that's cool.
That's a good brother, man. But salute to you, good brother. Thank you for your time.
Anytime.
Appreciation, man. And I will definitely be in touch. I'm going to text you in a little bit.
Okay, I love what you guys are doing. Storming through. Man, keep up the good work, man.
We'll be in touch, definitely, man. Good night to you. Good night to your wife.
Right.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank you for helping. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. For real.
All righty. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that was a banger. I was going to talk about the events last night. I'll do that during the week. But this takes priority whenever we get a legend from the ring onto the show, man. Yeah. Oh, that's what's up, Chi-Town. That's what's up. Damn, I should have said that right before I saw it late in the chat. But salute to Chi-Town's finest. Yeah, man. For those of you that don't know, I think they're on a press tour. Canelo and Jamel on a press tour. They're coming to New York, and I applied for a credential. I may or may not get it, but if they open the floor like how they did for Errol and Bud, because it's at the same venue, I'm just gonna ask a question. So I'm just gonna ask a question. So they may or may not like it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm going to ask the question. I'm not there to give head. I don't do it. I don't do that like some of y'all trolls do. I'm going to ask the question. It's not, to me, it's not even a tough question. It's just a question. Why this fight now? Why are you at the PBC now? All right. Is the third option Benavidez? I'm just going to ask the questions that we all talk about here. I'm not going to see the redhead and be like, oh, it's Canelo. No. I want to see if you can beat David Benavidez. Why is that? Why is that? That's not a bad question. Because truth be told, let me do a quick poll in here. I'm rooting for Jamel Charlo. But how many of you actually think he's going to win? Press 1 if you think Jamel's going to win. Press 2 if you think he's going to lose. Now, I'm rooting for Jamel. But press 1 if he wins. Press 2 if he loses. I'll wait, but don't take all night. I got shit to do. I'm concerned. Why the PBC now? Remove your feelings. I'm rooting for Jamel. But do you think he's gonna win? Y'all know how I feel about Canelo. Half the cards are done already. He's up 6 rounds. Remove your feelings. I'm rooting for him. But do you think he's gonna win? And I'll just leave that there. I'll just leave that there. There you go. There you go. So y'all do what y'all want. Now I'm rooting for him. I actually hope he goes in there and has a Bivol performance, maybe better. But what I want to happen and what might happen based on the atmosphere of this sport, I don't have no faith. But I'm rooting for Jamel. Stormy, your thoughts?
People are getting ready to get taken to the cleaners once again, man. And I'm just going to be sitting on the side of the road. I'll be that old guy sitting on the side of the road playing a harmonica, a very slow melody because of the heartbreak. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Keep your mouth closed. That's a great way to be. But I'm telling you guys, PBC invested all this money in Canelo Alvarez. Money that they couldn't find for guys like Earl Spence and Bud Crawford, who are more accomplished for fighting the real fights between the two of them. One quick reminder about Canelo. He never sought undisputed when the Charlo twins and Andrade had titles. He never sought undisputed when those men had titles. He never sought undisputed when David Benavidez, two-time champion at 168, had titles. But once the belt was stripped away from Benavidez, he swooped in and fought a former sparring partner for the belt. Where do they do that at? And a guy who had lost to Benavidez, who still at the time had a name, actually fought on the same night. Durrell. Canelo never looked his way. But I'm going to tell you people, there's a young man by the name of Christian Mbili. Keep that name in your memory banks, because he's a fighter that should be ranked #1 by one of these sanctioning bodies. And we're going to see what kind of games that they play by not allowing this man from Canada to fight for the title. In the meantime, some of you are talking about Benavidez and Andrade and everything. Yeah, they more than likely are gonna face one another, because neither one of them want to face Mr. Mbili. As I stated before, you listen. You keep your eyes open and your ears open. Keep your mouth closed. There are things that you can learn in this life. Everything, the truth floats right around your face. Don't be distracted. There's so much to this sport. So much. As I stated earlier, we saw a fight last night where Valdez, a former world titleist, couldn't do the simplest things as throw a straight punch against a guy that was handing him his dinner. But Valdez has a trainer that won Trainer of the Year twice. Trainer of the Year for what? Canelo hasn't solved a Dimitri Bivol problem yet. He's only ran away from it. In fact, hasn't he run away from other problems in the past? A Trout problem, a Lara problem, a Bivol problem? To me, for a guy with 2 flat tires, he sure do a lot of running. Huh? Yeah. And I'm always going to be on that camp's neck because this is what they've fed you. They've shoveled it down your throat and you took it like Linda Lovelace. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Huh? But Stormy ain't here for that. I'm not. You need to look over there in that corner of Emmanuel Navarrete and see what he's about, because that's somebody you want to see fight Shakur Stevenson. Huh? Stop the Haney crap. Stop the Loma crap. Those fights aren't realistic. But a fight that is realistic, and if you want to talk about the battle of the demographics, you got a heck of a one brewing right there. Let's see it. I'm pushing, just like some of the other brothers out here say, we want to see the best fight the best. Stop putting fantasy matches to the forefront of things. And somebody please answer me this question. Has Regis Prograde answered the bell yet for Mr. Haney?
Uh-oh. That's a whole other show, Stormy. Sounds like a premiere to me.
Exactly.
Y'all paying attention, or are y'all just picking sides? Or are y'all operating off of hate? Or are you paying attention? Well, I ain't gonna belabor the point. I'm gonna ask you to tell them how they can find you. I just like hearing you say it, Stormy. Tell me they can find you.
The channel is Stormy B, man. It's all caps, but no cap. I
There
just
it is.
dropped the link in the chat there.
There it is. Yeah, Lost in the Jungle. And I meant to do that tonight, but at the last possible moment, Joe came through, and I had to give all that man his flowers. So
And that was deserving. He was deserving of that.
yeah. So I had to change the title and everything. I didn't know if he was going to show up or not, because sometimes these guys are busy. But he showed up and he showed out. And a lot of you, if you didn't know, it's okay. We don't expect you to know everything. But Google him. Google him, and Bernard Hopkins was his last fight. But now that we know, I didn't know that the brother was sick. I never knew that. He had to leave boxing and get a conventional job. So now's probably the time for him to get back into boxing at some point in some way where it quenches his thirst, man. But salute to him, his family. Salute to Trick Nolte. Y'all hit up his Cash App, please. And I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to talk this boxing. There's a lot to talk about. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to talk about. And, man, salute, man. Salute to everybody in the Venmo, the Zelle, the Cash App, the Super Chat. We're way past our time. The Queens of the Ring is on. Let's head over there, all 84 of us. Let's go run the numbers up, because we all we got. Bronx on deck.
Move! Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.